What's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at the Super7 Ultimates Thundercats Ghost Jaga. Now, this was a Super7 exclusive. I was the lucky beneficiary of my very good friend Brick Something, who was kind enough to pick this figure up for me. So I'm very happy to have it in my collection. Very happy to add this figure to my growing collection of translucent figures. If you've ever seen my show, if you've ever watched my channel, you know that I absolutely love translucent figures, and I'm always happy to add one from a new brand that I don't have a figure that they've put out. So this is going to be the first Super 7 translucent figure that I will be able to add to my collection. So I'm very, very excited about that. Let's take a look at the figure, starting with the packaging. So we get this lovely sort of holographic package, very reflective. I mean, you're going to see all the ring lights sort of reflected back and back on each other and all that kind of stuff. But it looks really, really good. Hopefully it translates on video, because in person, the box itself looks really, really cool. I'm very, very impressed. Now, this did not come with the outer box. So this is the first Super 7 Ultimates figure that I've gotten so far that comes, just with the slip cover. No box. I think in the future, they're not even going to come with the slip cover. But this is a beautiful slip cover. When we slide that slip cover up and off, we get the lovely Ghost Jaga figure there in the package. There's a cool, the bottom is like a reflective silver. The rest of it is kind of a blue, purple kind of a color. But there is Jaga, Ghost Jaga specifically, in package with all the hands that we know and love from the Super 7 Ultimates line. And on the back, we get a nice big picture of Ghost Jaga. They've done, so this is pretty cool. They've done the sort of picture on the back as a ghost. So if you can see, there's like a white border that goes around. You can see the white border continue through the Ghost Jaga picture, and you can see the mountains in the background through the Ghost Jaga figure. So, I know that that's not something that most people are going to care about. And to be honest, this box, the figure's coming out of the box is going to get put in another box in storage, and I'm never going to look at it again. But good on Super 7 for sort of continuing the sort of ghostliness. The bio for Ghost Jaga is down the bottom there. If you want to pause that and read that, feel free. I'm not reading it. But that is the box. The important thing to me is the figure. So let's get this guy out of the box. So here we have Ghost Jaga out of the box, and first impressions, I really like this figure. Now, I know that not everybody loves Super 7's articulation. I get that. The articulation is limited, but that being said, this is the figure that I wanted. This is the figure that I wanted for a Ghost Jaga. The articulation is perfectly fine, apart from one thing that's sort of an issue. But that's straight out of the box, and I'll get to that in a minute. But there's more sort of paint, there's more deco on this figure than I thought there was going to be. So it is a clear figure that they have added deco to. So they've, added some deco to make him a little more opaque on the boots. There is deco on the hands to make the hands a little more opaque. There's definitely paint on the cuffs. The little sort of jumpsuit, bodysuit that he's got is a fully opaque plastic. The cape, there's parts that are opaque. It has some transparency, but it's more or less opaque. But I also think there's some shading going on. There's the beard is painted, the helmet is painted. So there's a lot of stuff that's painted to sort of add to the look and the feel of this figure. He feels like a ghost in an animated series. He feels as though there's enough transparency, there's enough translucency that there's a ghostliness, there's sort of a spectral look to the figure. But they've added enough paint that we get to see the sculpt, we get to see the detail, we get to see the character, right? Which I think is a good. It makes for a good product. I mean, this is a ghost Jaga that I think befits the quality that we want from Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats figures, and ultimately what collectors kind of need, right? I skipped the normal Jaga. I thought the ghost Jaga was a more appropriate figure for a Thundercats collection. So here he is, and he looks fantastic. And on top of that, he comes with some really cool accessories. So let's take a look at the accessories. Starting off with the hands, Ghost Jaga out of the box comes with the standard C grip hands. Now we definitely will get the other set of C grip hands. These are going to be the vertical hinge hands. The horizontal hinge hands are on the figure already. Then we get more open hands, the sort of emotive, expressive hands that we typically get with a lot of these figures, as well as one more set of hands. And in this case, there's a little bit of something a little bit different. So there's an open hand here, and the left hand is just, well, I was going to say standard, but I mean it's a ghost hand. And then the right hand comes with the sort of yellow tint to it. Now, I like Thundercats, but I don't know Thundercats well enough to know what this hand is from. So if you know why there's a yellow tinted hand, let me know in the comments, because I'm actually quite curious. I couldn't figure it out. I could probably Google search it, but that where's the fun in that, So I like this. I assume that there's some relevance there. There's probably a specific episode where that is relevant, and sort of where he uses that hand. We get a transparent, not transparent, it's sort of a semi-transparent Sword of Omens, which has got some paint on there that makes it a little more ghostly and a little more spectral, as I said before. But that's a cool addition. And then on top of that, we get one more sword. Now, to the best of my knowledge, and as I said, I like Thundercats, but I am certainly not the most versed in Thundercats. I believe that this is the sword that he uses in the episode where he battles, the non-Ghost Jaga battles. Oh, now I've completely forgotten the name because I'm recording this. I'm gonna forget it. I'll add it in post, but probably not. But then they sort of they battle in the spectral plane afterwards, and he has this. So that's a pretty cool addition. Like the other stuff, a little bit of paint goes a long way on here. So they painted the hilt, but that's painted over top of this semi-transparent, semi-translucent sword. So that looks really, really cool as well. So you get the extra hands, the two swords, all together, just a really, really cool figure. And a figure that I think will really please Thundercats fans. And if you are collecting the Super 7 Ultimates Thundercat line, I think this is like a must-have. I'm not saying that every figure in the line is a must-have, but Ghost Jaga to me is like a no-brainer. And if you can grab one of these guys, definitely do. If you've already got it, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. But if you don't, I would strongly suggest that you try to pick up Ghost Jaga. It's a really, really great figure. All right, so because I am well and truly the worst person to be reviewing this figure. I did not know how to pose him up. I really just sort of put some accessories in his hands and sort of the yellow hand as well as the sword in a very vanilla generic pose. The one thing that I forgot to mention, as I said, there was one issue with the articulation. His elbow it feels like it's fused. Now, I'm going to give him a hot bath and see if I can loosen that up. But other than that, the whole figure was like phenomenal in terms of the joints were nice and tight, but not so tight that I couldn't pose them. So I'm really, really happy with the figure. And as I said, very excited to get this guy on my shelf. Ghost Jaga is not only an awesome figure because he's translucent, but because, this is, to me, the iconic Jaga. Jaga, full opaque. Yeah, we see in a couple episodes, but he's not really that relevant. Ghost Jaga was the figure that I wanted. So again, shout out to Brick Something for hooking me up with the figure. If you can grab it, definitely do. It's a great figure. It's a great addition to your Thundercats shelf, or to your cat slayer if you are lucky enough to get one. I think this is a great figure, and I'm pretty excited to have it. As I said, Super 7 is not making the most articulated figures. That is not what they're going for. The articulation scheme on this is fantastic for what it is. It is way, way beyond what the old vintage figures are. And this is sort of the thing that I think as kids, we sort of dreamed of having the amount of articulation that these have. Now, other lines have gone beyond that, but I think what we get here is still really, really good. So, say what you will about Super 7. I love them. Whether it's the Thundercats line or the Ninja Turtles line, I'm really, really enjoying these figures. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And if you don't want to miss any going forward, hit that bell icon to get notifications on new videos. Until next time, bye-bye.